And Moses joins us for our first look at sports. Now, there was a big AJJHL playoff rematch last night involving the Bobcats and the Whitecourt Wolverines.
And it was a big one, too, for a certain defenseman for the Bobcats, of course, Tyler Coons from Whitecourt, playing his team now. Not his team, but you know what I mean. It's going to be a good one. Maybe revenge on the mind for Whitecourt, too. Last time these two teams met was back in March. They would come up big, especially to start the first period. A 5-on-3, Chase Nelson to John Mullally, playing give and go. Mullally one-times it, but Ryan Turness coming up huge with the big save. Fast forward to the third, where we finally get some offense. Lucas Bench feeding it to Taylor Mulder. He puts the biscuit in the basket, his 4th goal in 5 games. Moving 30 seconds after that, sloppy defense by the Wolverines. Evan Schumi to Tyler Coons, who will put it home right there. 2-zip Bobcats. Of course, that was their first 2 shots of the period as well. Troy Van Teetering, scary play there. Gets it leveled by Jordan Davies. He'd be all right, but the boys aren't happy. Bryce Woodward taking reception. He would get a penalty. Davies would lead as well. Troy Rapuano to Tyler Coons. He puts it top shelf for his second of the game. Wolverines will respond with a late goal. With only a minute left in the third, Coons looking for the Hattie. He'll get the assist instead, as Brett Everson will get credit for the goal. Cats, however, take it by a score of 4-1. Sweet night for Coons, as he is a Whitecourt native, as we just mentioned. Cats outshot the Wolves 27-19. Now let's go to the post-game wrap-up with Gary Van Herway.
Obviously, the little things like driving wide and paying the price to get to the net and get traffic to the net when pucks are getting there, instead of reacting to a puck going, we're starting to anticipate pucks are going to go, and guys are going to the net and they're there when the puck gets there.
It feels really good. It's been a while since I had one of them. Almost had the hat trick, had a couple chances, but I couldn't have done it without all the other guys out there helping me out.
Fun fact, Coons has never scored a hat trick in his junior A career. We're pulling for you, buddy. Nevertheless, good performance, 2 goals and an assist. Meanwhile, the Bonnyville Pontiacs played their second game in as many nights, and even though they outshot the crew 35-18, Sherwood Park gets the edge in the goal market. 2-1 was the final. Now, this weekend is shaping up to be a block party for the Lakeland Women's Rustlers volleyball team. The team optimistic about the depth and defense returning to their lineup.
The ACAC landscape will look quite different for the Lakeland Rustlers this season.
We're starting a week earlier this year than previously, and so it takes a little bit of our exhibition and preseason away, where we're working on development and figuring out what kind of team we are.
A year ago, the team's identity was one of rebuilding, but with an influx of new talent, a wide-open North Division, and a year under the belt for players like Samantha Sonnenberg, there's no shortage of optimism.
Definitely there's been a feeling out process, but I think we're looking pretty strong as a group, and I think we're set up to do quite well this year.
We have awesome rookies coming in, and I think our second years from last year have shown that they're ready to go, and I think I've never been on a team with so much depth.
I hope our serving is going to be a lot better this year than it was last year, and it looks like it should be. As well, our block defense definitely should be good.
And there's no doubt where the strength will lie. 4 quality players in the middle, 2 of which were in the top 3 for blocks, boding well for a division that is smaller.
We have big players, we have players that are gaining experience, and so they're a lot smarter, and when it comes to blocking, that's one of the biggest pieces, is whether you can read and use those pieces to make sure that you can get points.
My blocking is going to be my biggest strong point, I think, but I think just being very aware of what I do need to work on and making sure that I'm always keeping that in mind and always trying to improve my weaker points in my game will help me develop into the player that I need to be if I want to reach the next level.
To be able to pass, we have to play defense so we can get our middles the ball and get our big players the ball, and if we can't do that, then we're pretty tiny, so I think it's going to be kind of more of a defensive identity, I think, and serve receive and that kind of thing, which I think is a good thing, because that's in our league, that's what wins games.
And that is your first look at sports. Gerard Lampow, the ever-loquacious Gerard Lampow. We'll have your weather details coming up. The Wheatland Football League playoffs are a week away, and the Lloyd Comp Barons are riding a high. After a tough season last year, the Bandits are 3-1 and look to gain more momentum when they host the Cold Lake Royals in their final tune-up game. Matt Schumont has more.
After a sub-500 record from a year ago, the Barons brought in former player Aaron Harper to take over the reins during the off-season. His presence was felt going 3-1 during the regular season.
It's nice that we know sort of where we're going to be playing for the next couple of weeks and we worked hard to make sure that we can at least play as many games as we can on this field, so the guys deserve it.
The first section of the season is a great way to start it out. I mean, only one loss to Holy Rosary, and it wasn't by much. So I'm going to be happy moving into the last part in the playoffs, so hoping to keep the momentum up and get some more wins.
Finishing second in the Wheatland Football League standings, the Barons have earned themselves home field advantage for next week's semifinal.
It's a lot nicer to stay here and you know, wake up a little bit later in the morning, relax, and know sort of dress in your own dressing room and play in front of your parents. It's a lot better than having to go on a bus and eat food somewhere else and have parents travel. So it's good. It's something you definitely want to work for, and the better teams deserve it. So.
Our atmosphere at home is it's a very large part of how we win games, is with the strong home field influence.
But before the playoffs begin, the Purple and Gold will get one more tune-up game when they host the Cold Lake Royals, a perfect team for the Barons as they gear up for a big playoff run.
They have a very talented defensive line, probably one of the better defensive lines in the league. Our O-line is working every day on their blocking assignments.
They like to pass a lot. Their quarterback's a great athlete, so pretty much you just got to prepare for the best and watch what that did in the last game and see if you can improve.
Matt Schumont, Newcap Sports.